video of some exercises, stretching, and mobility that can help if you have any back pain, specifically lower back pain. What we're going to do is just a standard toe touch. So we're going to have our feet glued together. You're going to stand nice and tall. All you're going to do is run your hands along your legs, shoot your bum behind you, and reach down for your toes. We're going to go ahead and do that 6 times. So I'm just going to reach my bum behind me, slowly bring my hands down, reach down for my toes, come back up to standing. We're going to do that 5 more times. So I want to try to keep your legs as straight as you can, shooting your bum behind you each time. One more time here. Okay, so another way to help with our lower back pain is to have nice and big open shoulders. So I'm going to show you a back exercise that's going to help with our posture. So we're going to come into something called a hinged position. So you're going to have your feet shoulder width apart. If you take your hands and kind of chop yourself in half by your hip bones, you're going to fold over so I have a nice neutral spine. My bum is reaching out behind me. I'm going to have my hands straight down, my thumbs are pointing forward. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my arms up to the side, making a T shape. I'm going to squeeze my shoulders, and I'm going to let my arms come straight. So you should feel a strain in between your shoulder blades. Let's do that 6 times. So you bring your arms up, squeeze your shoulder blades, and back down. So the more open that our shoulders are, you'll be able to move around from your upper back rather than your lower back, which will help eliminate some of the pain. Let's go one more time here. Okay, now we're going to get down on the floor. I'm going to show you a couple of hip and shoulder openers that will help as well. So the first one, we're going to be in a hands and knees position. Whenever we are in this position, we want to have our hands right underneath our shoulders. My knees are underneath my hips and my toes are on the ground. So the first one that I'm going to do is called a thoracic rotation. So this is learning how to rotate from our upper spine, keeping our lower spine more in place. The more that we can move around from our shoulders, it's going to help with your back. So I'm going to take my right hand on the side of my right temple, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my elbow, my rib cage, and my eyes up to the ceiling on the right, and I'm going to come back down to the neutral position. We're going to do that 5 more times. So you try to keep your hip bones pointing down, rotating from your upper spine, and back down. Okay, breathe out at the top. You might find you're very stiff in the first couple repetitions. As you go along, you might feel that you're opening up a little bit more. 2 more times here. 1 more time. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you always start hands and knees, and go ahead, left hand on, rotating open, rib cage, eyes, elbow all the way up, and back down. These exercises are something that you can do every morning, before a workout, before you go to bed. It's just going to take you a couple of minutes. 3 more. One more time. Okay, the next one I'm going to do, I'm going to start in that hands, knees position again. If you've ever done yoga, this is called a cat-cow. So again, it's just creating a lot of space in our upper spine to alleviate any pressure on the lower back. So in that hands and knees position, I'm going to press my hands into the ground. I'm going to round my spine, pull my belly button in towards my spine, and I'm going to arch my back, looking up to the ceiling. Nice big stretch, and we're going to do that 5 more times. So you're rounding your spine, and you're going to arch your back. 4 more like that, nice and slow. You move at your own pace. Again, you might feel you're a little bit more stiff in the first couple of repetitions, and you're able to open up a little more by the end. 2 more. One more time. Okay, since we are in this position, we're going to go into something called a bird dog reach. So this is a core exercise that's going to help you feel nice and stable. So the whole point of this exercise is I'm going to be moving opposite arm, opposite leg, and you're trying to keep your back as stable as you can in that position. Everybody's spine looks a little bit different, so you might have an arch in a spot where somebody else doesn't, but the whole point is to try to keep that same shape in your back throughout the exercise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my nice stable start. I'm going to reach my right arm and my left leg. So I'm going to reach my right arm in front, my left leg is going to kick behind, we're going to hold for a second, and then we're going to slowly come back on the ground. So we're going to do that 6 times on each side, trying to keep your back as stable as you can throughout the exercise. So it's right arm and left leg, kicking and reaching, back down on the ground. Nice and slow, you don't have to rush through these. 4 more times. So your eyes are looking slightly above your hands. You're reaching with your fingertips, kicking through your heel. Nice and slow. Try not to move your spine too much. Same thing on the other side. Find your neutral spine to start. And go ahead, left arm, right leg. You might feel very unstable the first time that you do these, but the more that you practice, you'll get a little bit better on the balance. 4 more. Last one here. Okay, now we are going to start to open up the hips a little bit. So one of our big thigh muscles is called our hip flexor. So we're going to come into 2 90-degree angles from our knees. So my left heel is under my left knee, my right knee is under my right hip. With my hands on my hip, what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze my bum, drive my hips towards the ground, and my front knee is going to reach towards the toes in the front. So that's 6 times. You're going to rock forward, squeezing the bum on the back, feel a nice big stretch in the front of the thigh, and then you come back up tall. 5 more times. Again, you might feel nice and stiff in the first one. As you keep going, you might be able to feel a bigger stretch in that hip. 3 more times there. One more time. Perfect. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So often when we have really tight hips, you might be pulling your pelvis in an unstable position. Maybe one of your hips is higher than the other. So stretching out those hips every day will help to alleviate a little bit of that pressure. It's really shooting your hips down towards the ground, squeezing your bum on that side of the leg that's down. Let's go 3 more times. 2 more. 1 more time. We're going to do something called a glute bridge. So a lot of people use their lower back to kind of reach behind or to kick their legs behind you, but we should really be using our glute muscles, the muscles in our bum, which is actually one of the strongest muscles in our body. So doing an exercise like this will help you to activate those muscles in your bum, learning how to use them properly, so again you can stop using your lower back. So we're going to come flat on the ground, your head is on the ground, your feet are hip width apart, almost just in reach of your fingertips. So they're a little bit longer out in front of your knees. We're going to do this 6 times. What you're going to do is you're going to rock your pelvis back, and then you're going to dig your heels into the ground. You're going to squeeze your bum, lift your hips up in the air. You're going to hold for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and then slowly lower back down. You can practice taking a breath in through your nose at the bottom. When you lift up, you can exhale through your mouth, squeeze your bum. 1, 2, 3, and go ahead like that 4 more times. So breathing at the bottom, really squeeze your bum, dig your heels into the ground, and back down. So you're looking to have a straight line from your hips to your shoulders. You're not using your back to get up there, you're just squeezing your bum. 2 more times like that. One more time. back down. Now we're going to do an exercise called a dead bug. It's almost the exact opposite as the bird dog where we were on our hands and knees. So lying on my back, I'm going to have both of my arms up in the air, both of my knees are up in the air, and my toes are pulled towards my knees. So the same idea that we did in the beginning, I'm going to reach my opposite arm and opposite leg. I'm kicking through my heel, reaching through my hand, and I'm going to come back up to center. We're going to do that 6 times per side. And again, you're trying not to move around in your lower back too much. You're just reaching from your arm and your leg. Think about tucking your belly button in towards your spine. Okay, so hands are up. We're going to kick the right leg and left arm, kicking through the heel, reaching through your fingertips, and coming back up. We're going to stay on the same side for 6. This is a really good core warm-up. The stronger your core is, the less you'll use your lower back. Let's go one more time here. And now we'll do the same thing on the other side. Right hand, left leg, kicking and reaching. Coming back up. Nice and slow on these. You don't need to rush it. Three more times. Last one. Good. So we're going to start in that same hands and knees position. So my hands are right underneath my shoulders. From there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step my feet out behind me. I'm just going to show you about 10 seconds. If you were doing this at home, I would do this for about 30 seconds. Okay, so we're here. I'm going to find my nice neutral spine. I'm going to step one foot out. I'm going to step the next foot out, and I'm just going to hold that plank position here. So again, everybody's back is going to look a little bit different when they do the plank, but the whole point of the exercise is that you're staying as still as you can. You want to keep your shoulders right over your wrist. You're squeezing your bum, squeezing your inner thighs, looking just above your fingers, and you're just going to hold that position for 30 seconds. Okay, now we're going to get into something called a side plank. I'm going to show you a beginner version today, so it's more of a modified side plank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my left elbow right underneath my left shoulder. My left knee is going to stay bent on the ground, about 45-degree angle from my hip, and my right leg, the top leg, is nice and straight on the ground. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be lifting up my hips from the ground, pressing my left knee into the ground, and I'm looking for a straight line from my ankle, my knee, my hip up to my shoulder. Okay, so you press your bottom knee in, your top foot, elbow into the ground. You're going to lift up from there, getting those hips nice and high. You're squeezing your bum. Think about keeping your shoulders nice and open. Your head is up. Again, you can hold this for 30 seconds per side. I'm just going to show you about 10 for now. The higher you keep your hips, you squeeze your bum, you're going to strengthen all of those muscles around your back. And then to come down, you just slowly drop your hips. Let me just show you the setup on the other side as well. So you take your elbow right underneath your shoulder, bottom knee is bent on the ground, top leg is straight, nice straight line. Digging the bottom knee and elbow into the ground, you're going to lift those hips up, shoulders open, hips high, head is up as well. Again, you're going to hold this for 30 seconds. When you're finished, you just slowly drop back down onto the ground. And that's what it is. So again, it's just all about opening up your hips, having better range of motion in your shoulders, strengthening your core and your bum, and that should help you to get rid of any lower back pain that you have.